Welcome, affiliated listeners, to another special episode of the podcast where I am in studio, but we have a guest from far away who's going to be joining us. And you definitely want to pay attention because, guys, we're going to be talking about what is the number one traffic source on ClickBank right now, which is YouTube. And we're going to be talking with a YouTube expert. In fact, this YouTube expert is so big, he's recently been recognized as one of the top 5,000 fastest growing companies by Forbes. And this is even more impressive as an agency owner. This individual is actually recognized by Forbes because his clients loved him so much. They're doing such a good job. They anonymously basically surveyed them, found out that he is doing so fantastic that they gave him an award for that. So we are getting really amazing inside information about YouTube, what's working today, and also more specifically, how YouTube and AI are pairing into a powerhouse for ad acquisition that you need to understand. So if you're out there and you want to be in YouTube, you have traffic that's coming from YouTube, or you're a media buyer in YouTube right now, you need to pause everything you're doing, pay attention, because this episode is likely to change the way you're operating your business, your affiliate business, and going to be operating into the future. So with that, let me introduce our guest today. Aleric, we had this whole time, like, how I'm going to pronounce your name now, like overthought it, but Aleric Heck, the amazing owner of Ad Outreach. We have you today. How are you doing? I just want to acknowledge again, coolest background, high rise, beautiful, gorgeous. Hope you're having a fantastic day. But yes, of course, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited to dive in. I know this is going to be great. And I'm excited to dive into all the new changes with YouTube ads, how you can really leverage them, whether you are promoting different offers, you have your own offers. YouTube ads are a really powerful way to go and get them in front of more people. So I'm excited to dive in.
Yes, they are. YouTube is definitely an amazing source. So let's kind of jump in. Well, actually, before we jump in, because we're going to definitely talk about some exciting things. Again, guys, if you're doing anything involving YouTube, especially on the paid side, you have to give this a listen. But just for people that don't know or haven't seen your talks before, or seen podcast episodes, or Googled your name right before we started this conversation, why don't you give people just a little bit of a background of kind of about how you got into this crazy world of YouTube advertising and found the success that led you to today. And then we'll jump into a little bit about exactly what you need to be doing to make YouTube successful today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started out on YouTube a long time ago, back, actually almost 15 years ago, back in July of 2009, created my first YouTube channel, App Find, reviewing mobile apps, tech tutorials, teaching people how to use their iPhone for the first time. Grew to about 500,000 subscribers. Then from
still
there,
need those channels too, Aleric. Still need
exactly, yeah. So millions of views on videos teaching people how to use their iPhone, different tutorials, things like that. And I had all these different sponsors. They were sponsoring me, wanting me to promote their apps or their different products on my channel. One day I had an app that got a sponsorship. I promote their app on the channel. They go ahead and they get, a bunch of downloads. Like, this is great. How can we get this video in front of more people? And that question, they asked that about 8 years ago. And I was thinking about it. I said, well, what if we take a YouTube ad and we run this ad in front of people that are similar to those that are already watching the video, already downloading your app? And so that's what we did. And that was kind of my first, foray into YouTube ads. And we got thousands of downloads in just a week for that app. They were blown away. They then had another app they wanted me to promote. That did even better. And so ultimately, they called me up, they gave me a job offer on the spot. I was in college at the time. It was like 8 years ago. They wanted me to drop out, like fly out there, join their team. I turned it down, said, you know what? I want to build this myself. And that's what I created, was Ad Outreach. Originally, we worked with mobile apps to run YouTube ads, but then we expanded into different businesses and offers and info products and a wide variety of different, types of businesses that really all benefit from the power of YouTube ads and getting in front of the right person at the right time with the right ad. We're going to dive into how that works and also how it's changed a little bit with YouTube, with AI in YouTube here on this episode. But that's basically a little bit of the background.
Such a good segue. And honestly, again, just a great story. One thing I like to mention is like, I love the fact that you found success. You kind of, I don't want to say stumbled into it, right? But somebody asked a question, and sometimes the most simple answer is pure brilliance, because it's simple to say, well, why don't we just turn it into an ad, right? But I think the powerful thing, just especially for listeners that might be new, or even if you're experienced, that you took the fact, you're like, wow, this is a really big thing. And instead of just jumping into a company saying, hold on, I'm going to build this myself, which I imagine you look back and think, what a brilliant decision, because you kept yourself the ability to be agnostic of what you're selling and just continue to promote ads, which obviously, got you on the Forbes fastest growing 5,000. It was number 60, I think, that you made. So
yeah, number 60, Inc. 5,000. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Number 60,
there you go.
Inc. 5,000, fastest growing.
Yes. Yeah. So it was a good decision. So that being said, let's jump into YouTube ads as a whole right now. So what I'd like to do is, I think what we could do is let's talk a little bit about maybe some of the big changes you've seen in terms of, hey, this was working, and a lot of people now, due to some changes, it's not. And then we can kind of transition to maybe what is working. But let's talk a little about some big shifts some people might be feeling right now out there in the YouTube world.
Absolutely. So one of the big shifts is shifting from content targeting over to audience-based targeting. So in the past, YouTube ads for years and years and years was all about content targeting. And maybe some people are familiar with that. If you've ever tried running YouTube ads, or you've seen some different resources or trainings before, probably familiar that it used to be all targeting direct, videos or channels, or these are called placements. So you would say, I want to run my ad in front of this video or this YouTube channel, or videos with this keyword or this topic. And that was really for a long time the way to run ads on YouTube. And what YouTube did, though, over the last couple of years is they've now shifted away from content targeting and towards audience-based targeting based on the person, the individual, as well as what they're looking up on Google, on YouTube, websites they might have gone on recently, in-market audiences, using the millions of data points that Google has to pinpoint the perfect person. Now, in the past, yes, it was powerful targeting content, especially if you target specific videos. People would actually go through, they would grab all these different placements targeting these different things. But there was also a downside, because you didn't necessarily know exactly who you were reaching with those ads, just that they were watching this video. And so what YouTube has evolved into is targeting based on that person, and still keeping that intent that they're known for, because you can actually go and target people based on their being an in-market audience. So Google knows that they're interested to make a purchase of a specific product, service, or category. Or you can build your own custom intent audiences based on things that they're searching for on Google, searching for on YouTube. You can also target people based on websites they're going on. So you could target people using what's called a URL affinity to target people based on sites they've been on recently. Imagine that. Imagine putting in your competitors' websites and then going in and targeting people that have recently been on those sites. It seems like you shouldn't be able to do it, but it's actually true. Like, what you could do is essentially target people based on websites that they've gone on. And the reason for that is, we got to remember who we're dealing with here. This is Google. They know everything you're searching for. Where do people go when they go to sites? They usually don't just type it in the browser. They actually go and search for it and then click the link. So they're tracking all of that. They also own Google Chrome. So they see every site you ever go onto with Google Chrome. They have Gmail. There's a reason Gmail's free. They're seeing all the emails coming back to you. Also, Google Analytics, people don't know this. Google Analytics is installed on 55.49% of all websites online. More than half.
So over half the internet is covered in first-party data for Google alone. So that's crazy. That is craziness. So it's kind of like going through this idea where we know that YouTube was the second largest search engine, and I think still is, behind Google. So it's like, hey, go to content, go to where people are searching, do some ads, which would probably lend itself to some of the initial upfront costs when you're building a new campaign in YouTube, because that was kind of the style. But with the shift, it almost reminds me, it's like being able to take a Facebook style strategy before, when they used to have third-party data. Now that's been shut off. It's almost like now Facebook, you have to go more content route, which has made it much less effective. But YouTube, they almost, with all the first-party data Google has, you can now have the targeting power that you had in Facebook with the information and content that YouTube has. I could see how it really becomes a supercharged place to send some traffic. So let me ask this, like, to get into some more specifics, knowing that you're now using some of this first-party data to get intent, we're now almost looking at buying behavior, not just content consumption, and pairing those up. How does that start changing the strategy? What did you start shifting in terms of your ads or your targeting when you saw this changeover happen with YouTube?
Yeah. So we'll talk about targeting first, then we'll talk about the ads. And then I can also talk a little bit about how we're making the targeting a little bit easier as well. And some software.
I'm going to make you. I'm going to make
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll dive into all of that. But in general, with the targeting, what this really means is that you can target people based on the fact that they're actually interested in looking up and looking for the service that it is that you provide. Right. So whether you are selling a supplement or a weight loss offer, or you're selling coaching, or you have some type of info product or service or product, whatever it happens to be, that solves a problem that people have. And what do they do when people have problems? They look up what to do with it, right? They look up how to solve it. So essentially, they're going to Google, they're going to YouTube, second largest search engine, but they're also going to Google, the largest search engine, and they're looking up answers to their problems. So there's something called custom intent, and these based on Google and YouTube searches. So you can target people based on what they've searched for on Google and YouTube. Now, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with standard Google pay-per-click ads. The challenge with that, though, is there's such a low barrier to entry that the cost per click has gotten really expensive, especially for high competition keywords. Well, what we found is if you're running Google pay-per-click ads, you could just take the top performing search terms that you're targeting, put it into a custom intent audience, and run it as a YouTube ad and get, honestly, higher quality and more indoctrinated traffic, because it's somebody who searched for that exact same thing, but then the next time they go on YouTube, they're now watching a video. You have an ad that educates them, teaches them why your product or service is better, and then gets them to click and take action, which not only can get lower cost clicks because it's not, where that cost is the highest on that direct search, but then also you're getting people more ingrained into what it is that you do, and actually makes them more likely to take action and become a client or purchase that product or service.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense, because realistically, YouTube becomes a second layer of actionable intent, right? So if I Googled, and I think a lot of us, I think it's always important to remember that most people don't Google keywords, right? Like, even if I was curious about Ozempic, I'm not going to just type Ozempic. I'm like, what's the deal with this new drug Ozempic is the full thing you're most likely to type. Or even now is, I look like a boomer all the time. My kids don't type anything. They just ask Siri a question, which you don't go to Siri and go Ozempic, you're going to talk to it. So I think that's always really interesting. But if that first little answer didn't suffice and then you click to go to a second layer, I would agree that shows someone's exhibiting really great intent that I want to capture. So now my curiosity here is, let's use this Ozempic example. Obviously a huge keyword right now. Everyone's bidding for it. Good luck getting anything on Google. Those CPCs would be astronomical, I'd imagine, if you're trying to focus on that keyword. When you transition, say, a bunch of keywords maybe around Ozempic to YouTube and a YouTube campaign, what would be, just as an example, I know this is really hard, but theoretically on average, what would you see would be the difference in the cost of that traffic? And we won't go to campaigns, just purely like kind of the CPC difference of what you'd expect to see.
Yeah. So honestly, we would expect to see it be less than what it is with the high cost, on Google. Because you got to think about it this way, right? There's only, let's say somebody searches for that. They search for Ozempic. Well, they're probably going to click 1, 2, or 3 links, right? And so, you only have a few opportunities to get them right there. But then also your website has to do all the heavy lifting. People have made a search. They see a very simple Google ad. But what people forget about Google search ads is it's really about the site and the landing page. Whereas on the other side, on YouTube, how many videos are they going to watch in the time frame following making that search? Now, Google doesn't exactly tell you exactly how long the time frame is, other than they've recently searched for this item, right? So they use recently searched, but their algorithm is smart. So the next time somebody goes onto YouTube and they've recently searched for Ozempic, well, guess what? You can now load your ad in front of them. And most people aren't doing this. Most people are all competing on the Google search side. And so what you're competing against is all the blanket YouTube advertisers that are bidding, pennies. And you can go and just, again, it's more of a target cost per action. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds. And I've got a PDF I'll give everybody that kind of talks about how to actually set all this up. But essentially what you're bidding is what's called a CPA, cost per action. So how much you're trying to spend at a maximum to get each of these leads. And actually, I'm sure people in this community know all about the CPAs and everything actually too. So just to give everybody credit here. So you're bidding CPA versus maximize conversions. That's a big mistake people make on YouTube. It's kind of like giving Google your credit card and saying, hey, just get me as many conversions as you can for,
we'll find a way to give you that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Versus saying, I want to get, $10, or less, CPA on these conversions, go out and get me as many of these as possible. It's like giving Google a budget. Now, it might not spend your full $100, but it could spend $50, get you 5-6 of those conversions, right? So, that's general. That's an oversimplification, but that's why we look at, target CPA. And so essentially what we're doing is we're going out there and we're saying we want to reach people that have recently searched for Ozempic, that Google's algorithm knows they're looking this up and they're interested in this. And then we want to serve our YouTube ad that's actually going to educate, provide value, and work in tandem with your landing page. Not making the landing page do all the work. Also, the ad shouldn't do all the work either. It's a combination, right? But it's going to work in tandem with the video and the landing page to get people to convert. And so essentially what you're doing is you're now getting in front of people with a video. And especially, let's say somebody looks up Ozempic. What are they probably looking for in that moment? Probably that itself or details around that. But let's say you have a supplement. Maybe let's just say it's like a green juice that can actually help people lose weight. And, and instead of Ozempic, instead of actually going and, getting shots and doing all these different things, you could just have this green juice supplement. Well, they might not actually want to click that on Google search. They're in the mode where they're thinking, I want to learn about Ozempic. But what do we know? They're interested in weight loss. They're going to do something to do that. And so now with our YouTube ad, what can we do? Don't inject yourself with shots. Just drinking this, this green juice every day can help you lose weight. And obviously you want to be compliant. So, not talk too much about specific, so again, there's certain things there, but it can help you lose weight. And let's talk about, how this works and why this works. It's going to help boost your metabolism with this, and this, and so then you can dive into, how you're going to be able to, help them with that. And you could even have something. Now, you got to be a little careful with using the exact brand name. But what you could do is you could say, hey, don't just look up, inject yourself with shots to lose weight. There's a better way. What if you could actually go and just drink, a green smoothie like this every day and actually lose weight? And that's what we want to talk about in this video. And then it talks about metabolism and all these different things. And then go click the link and you can go get our brand new supplement. And so essentially what you're doing is you're educating people in a way that they're likely not going to want to be educated on Google. If you think about it, if you search up Ozempic and then you see a green, supplement, you're probably not going to click that link. Or if you go to a page that's like that, you might have wasted that click. But on YouTube, you're going to capture the people that are interested in hearing more. You can call out what they might be researching and why your solution's actually better.
Yeah. It's like a perfect way to build a contrarian funnel, a contrarian campaign, right? So, because again, we know that these people are going for deeper research if they're on YouTube at some capacity, right? Ozempic might have been something that they heard about. Who knows what they decided when they read there, but they read something that maybe paused action. And so they're going to YouTube for more. So what a perfect place to bring in a contrarian viewpoint and start kind of stroking some of the pain points, the concerns, the objections that, like we mentioned before, competitors, knowing that you could target the competitor website, go to competitors and be like, we're going to hit our market differentiation against them without ever even having to say that. Let's build content. So if we did trying to think of another example so we could get out of Ozempic, because then I was like, oh, we're going to say something that's not compliant. But even say it was like tires, if there was different tires, right? So you had Firestone over here and that was your competitor. You look up Firestone and then you're, Toro or something over here or Yamaha. I don't know. I obviously don't know a lot about tires, but you could come in with the exact market differentiator. Are you tired of paying way too much for the same tire? Right. And now you have a video that goes to anyone that went to Bridgestone and you attack that price difference or the unique differences. It makes so much sense to me. It feels like, why are more people not doing it, is more my thoughts, because it feels like that's the way I've always thought about not a YouTube media buyer. Right. So that's the way I would approach or think about YouTube media buying, is exactly that way, because that feels like the ideal consumer experience. So my question is, for something that makes so much sense, why are more people not setting up campaigns like that? It just seems like it's right there.
Yeah, I think that people don't fully understand how the strategy works and how they can implement it. And that's obviously what I'm going out here to educate and teach people on. And that's what we help with that outreach. Is what I found is a lot of people, when you ask them, why do you run mostly, Meta and Facebook ads or Google search ads? It's oftentimes not because they've tried every platform and they found that works best. It's just because that's what they know. That's what they've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. And so honestly, that's the biggest answer for why people use those different platforms. Or maybe they tried YouTube, but they didn't have the right strategy, or they weren't really following a strategy. They just kind of dabbled in it. And then, they weren't able to figure it out. And so then they're just doing what they know. And so honestly, that's the biggest reason is people do what they know. They've been doing it for a while. But if you want to be on the cutting edge and innovative, then using YouTube ads is a big opportunity. But it's also not even just that. If you just want to see better results, what we found is just YouTube is going to be far better. Google search obviously is intent. We're talking about how this is kind of secondary intent here on YouTube, but then it's also video. It's a rich multimedia. People are watching video and sound is on in the vast majority of cases. Over like 90% of these video playbacks, sound is on. It's the opposite on Facebook. It's like less than 10% sound is on as people are scrolling on Facebook and they happen to have a video pop up there. So it's essentially inversed. And on Facebook, it's more of a pattern interrupt, right? It's interruption-based marketing. People are scrolling. Oh, I might be interested in that. On YouTube, they're in the learner's mindset. They're actually going looking to learn. They're watching videos, especially if you have a VSL funnel that's going to be able to sell people, on whatever it is that you're selling. What are people doing on YouTube? They're watching videos. So what are they more likely to do when they go into a VSL funnel? Well, it's actually watch the video. How often, this is what I talk to people who first they said webinars are dead. Now they're starting to say VSLs are dead because the view rates on webinars and VSLs have gone down. But I would say it's not that, it's more the platform. People's attention spans on Facebook and TikTok, where people are advertising a lot. Also, same thing with Google search, people clicking around a bunch of different links. They're not necessarily in a stage that they might watch the video right away or watch a webinar if it's evergreen right away. Versus on YouTube, people are actively watching videos right then and there. And if you can get a video in front of them, that's how you get 50, 60% view rates on VSL funnels, which, you used to be able to get before things weren't as saturated, back in the day of Facebook. But right now, it's very commonplace that people have half that or worse on Facebook, but on YouTube, it's far better because they're already watching videos.
Yeah, no, I love what you said there, because I think I hear so often, oh, people's attention spans are so short. I think it was Kurt Malley or somebody, I can't remember who said this on one of our podcast episodes, but they said, it's actually not that people's attention spans are short. It's that they could process and discern information faster. So when you think about the medians, like, yes, you're like Facebook, TikTok, these are meant to be quick selection, impulse kind of mediums. So if you don't have the attention right away, they're going to move on. But YouTube, we all still go down YouTube holes. Like we've all been in a moment where maybe all of a sudden, like for me, it's like, hey, that's a cool video about coffee. 2 hours later, I'm like into like some intricacy on how the beans of Guatemala are better than Colombia. And I was like, oh, how did this happen? And it's one of those things that you could really get caught into that trance of content. And if you're doing your ads right, especially when you could target the right consumer at the right intent, boy, it feels like now we're a part of the trance. And you could see how, and I know for a fact, especially high ticket IM offers are killing it on YouTube right now. And I imagine that that's a lot of the reason. They're still going to these webinars, master classes, whatever you want to call them. But I've actually heard they've been shortening them up on YouTube because they're getting such good audiences. I imagine your strategies are probably a lot of the reason why. I imagine you probably have clients that are doing exactly what I'm talking about. So with that, let's actually talk a little bit about the ad campaign, and then we'll transition a little bit into AI, because I know we could probably spend way too much time talking about all this, but I'd love to hear just a brief overview of kind of how these campaigns work. Like, how do we change the ads? Maybe what's the way we specifically do an ad? As much as you can share, and then we'll transition that into some AI.
Absolutely. So the way you want to put these ads together is there's three main components to a winning YouTube ad. And we've done thousands of these at this point. And like you said, you've definitely seen a lot of the ads that we've played a role in, out there on YouTube for sure. So, what we found is there is a key formula, and it starts with a hook that draws in your ideal clients, your viewers, captures their attention, gets them excited. Then there's an educate. This is where you're providing value. You're actually giving them value in the ad. We call our ads a value ad because we want to give them value inside of that ad and actually meet them where they're at. They're on YouTube to receive value. If you can give them value in the ad, they're going to know, like, and trust you and be more likely to go and watch that VSL or take that next step. So you want to give them real value. Then from there, what you're going to do is have a call to action. This gets them off the video into the rest of your funnel. And that is, of course, what's going to take them into that next step. So hook, educate, call to action. In general, you want to have about a 3-minute long ad. So about 15 to 30 seconds for the hook, about a minute to 2 minutes for the educate section, and 30 to 45 seconds for the call to action. You want to repeat the call to action a couple times. We always know we got to give people a couple of opportunities to click that link. And then from there, you also want to come up with multiple hooks. So what we usually recommend is come up with half a dozen hooks, a couple different educate sections. The call to action is usually the same. So what that allows you to do is have 12 different variations, because what you can do is film each part individually. You don't film the whole thing 12 times. You film hook 1, you film hook 2, you film hook 3, etc. You film educate 1, educate 2, you film the call to action, and then you put them together like Lego blocks. So your editor can go in hook 1, educate 1, call to action. Hook 1, educate 2, call to action. Hook 2, educate 1, call to action. Just put them all together. And you end up with 12 videos, but it feels like you just filmed a couple videos, right? Yeah. So it's an easy way to actually go and create more different variations on the ads to then go and set those up with the targeting, which we'll talk a little bit more about, how that targeting works and how you can use AI with that in just a second as well.
Yeah. Because I'd imagine, it's just that creates so many dynamic opportunities for you to test, because at the end of the day, as you well know, like, us marketers could sit and think we know, but you never know until you put data behind it, right? So getting those intents out there, giving yourselves options. And I've said it on the podcast many, many times. The companies that win and win consistently just test more than the companies that don't. That's the biggest difference between them. So knowing that you have that way to be dynamic and smart and come out with 12 variations for what probably isn't going to take you nearly as long as making 12 independent videos seems super brilliant. Now, one quick thing before to go to the targeting, this is a curiosity for me. When you mentioned, you have to have a value add, like, where do you find the value? So I think sometimes I've seen a lot of people struggle with this because like, well, I'm going to like devalue the product, or do I really want to give that much away? And we know Alex and Rosie is very, very oriented around value, lead first. When you're talking to the clients, is there maybe just a couple things you do, like maybe talk them or coach them through to help bring the right value and the right amount to that ad? And then from there, we can talk a little about the targeting. Just there's a question that popped in my head.
The frame that I use is, think about it like a golden nugget, right? Golden nuggets are incredibly valuable. Everybody wants a golden nugget, right? That's great. And they're also small. They're very small. They fit, you can hold them with just a couple fingers, right? And
put it
that's
in my
the
teeth
thing that I think
too,
is really valuable, right? It's a small, it's bite-sized, but it's actually literally worth its weight in gold, because it's gold. It's a golden nugget. So that's what you want to do. A minute to 2 minutes of really, really strong value. I'll give you an example. So one of our clients, helps with weight loss, just to talk about this. Now, this is more of an information product, but you can apply the same type of thing regardless of what you happen to be selling. And so, the angle that he uses at the beginning and also the educate is kind of woven in together, is he's got a cup of oil and he holds it up and he says, this is 2,000 calories of oil. If a calorie is a calorie, why can't I just drink this every day and be fit? Well, now that we've established a calorie isn't a calorie, why do you think that 2,000 calories of pizza is the same as 2,000 calories of salad? In this video, I want to talk about what people aren't telling you about calories and why macronutrients is really what you need to be looking at. And then it dives into X, Y, and Z, and that ends up being a coaching offer. You actually use the exact same type of thing to sell supplements or sell whatever it happens to be. And that's an angle that works really well for him. And you can see that it has a big aha moment. It makes sense. You watch that and you say, wait a second, I thought, like, it changes your mind in an instant. That's a great ad, because there are people that think 2,000 calories of pizza is the same as 2,000 calories of salad and other things, right? But then he debunks that by saying, why can't I just drink 2,000 calories of oil? And people are like, of course you can't do that and be healthy. So then why do you think you could just be healthy eating 2,000 calories of pizza? It gives them an aha moment in that video that then leads them to say there must be something more than calories. Then he talks about macronutrients. He quickly educates on that and says you need to be looking at macros, and here's some of the different things. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk more about what that looks like inside of our webinar training.
Yeah. No, that's so perfect. And I love it too, because it's like it's built for viral sharing, right? Like that's one of those things that it's so easy that anybody could take it, consume it, and repeat it almost instantaneously, which I tell people all the time, like a good metaphor should be so easy to remember and allow you to seem cool at a party, right? Like if you could share this metaphor, people go, oh, you're interesting. That means you made a great viral ad if you could make other people seem interesting within a couple of minutes. So love that. And what a great example. And man, go out there, guys, find those golden nuggets, because I could tell you I've never seen an offer scale without something like that, whether it's an ice melt hack, whatever it might be, something that feels simple and just like you said is a value nugget within your copy, whether it's your VSL or ad, goes a long way. So with that, let's now talk about AI and targeting. And we know AI is a hot button word. It feels like crypto in, a couple of years ago, or NFTs in less couple of years ago. But at the same time, we know this technology is changing so much, some of it for the worse, but for the people that know how to use it, a lot for the better. So I'm curious kind of how that's playing a role in this targeting stuff and what you're doing with it.
Yeah. So, and that's also really good too, because I think there's obviously a lot of companies that kind of popped up overnight, and that's not what we're talking about here. I've actually been developing a software for the last 3 years. And the whole idea was, the question is, how can we go and do all the types of targeting and audience research that literally takes hours and hours and hours to do, to find what are people searching for on Google? What are they searching for on YouTube? What URLs are they going to? What are they watching? All the different details. What are in-market audiences that we can target with our YouTube ads, and building out audiences? So all of that research, there's a manual process, but the thing I looked at is, wait a second, this is a manual process where we repeat the same steps, which means it can be SOP'd, which means it could be automated. And AI was honestly the silver bullet we were waiting for to put the final piece of the puzzle together. It's not the only thing, because we've been developing this software for several years, and it was that final piece. So what we've done is I created a software called Keyword Search. It's keywordsearch.com. And what that does is it does AI ad targeting for YouTube and Google ads. And so what you can do,
you saw my face get really like, ooh, as soon as you said that, because that was definitely a great line, right? Yeah, that's fantastic. So
thank you. And all you do is you go in and you can build an AI audience. You just describe your business, put in the URL of literally the offer that you're looking to target. It'll go and scan the site and then click generate. And in just a minute, it will come up with all of the different ad targeting options that you can use to target on Google and YouTube, all the in-market keywords, all the different things people are searching for on Google and YouTube, categorized by topic so you can sync them together. It'll give you all the URLs that you potentially want to target, also YouTube channels that are talking about this topic. You can go and choose, okay, I want to target all of these different keywords or search terms that people are looking up. And then all you got to do is click sync to Google Ads. And in one click, it'll sync the entire thing, that entire audience, directly to Google Ads. And you can do that for multiple audiences. So it takes what would have taken hours and hours and hours and compresses it down into literally like a 5-minute process.
Well, not even hours and hours and hours, because I think for the average person, they have to know how to do your SOP first off to even get the right data. So really, it takes years and years and years and boils it down into a couple of minutes. I think the thing that's so amazing about that too, and the way that you just described, is the codification. And we're just talking about like, hey, you need that intent base. You need to know where the intent is so the ad serves it appropriately. Well, this creates a multi-layer that you could say, from intent here, they're searching here, and then they're going to go here, and then they're going to go here. And I could target and change my campaign based on where they are. And I would imagine it even allows you to start sequencing ads. So you can know, hey, they've gone from here to here. We can now change our ad, which would shrink up your touch points from how many times they actually touch to get the conversion. So super exciting stuff. I know I'm now nerding out on way too much, because that feels like you could just start really sequencing some very targeted and very efficient ad campaigns. And I can be crazy, but is that kind of what you're doing now? Expand a little bit more how you guys have taken this condensed technology and how it's really sped up your ad buying process.
Well, we run it with all of our clients. We originally built this for ourselves. That's where the best software comes from. It was internal software. We developed this so that we could use it, to really find the best targeting. And then now we've rolled it out to our clients, and now we actually have it something that it's available for people to sign up for, at Keyword Search. And so essentially what we do is we found that this allows you not just to create audiences and better audiences, but when you can create audiences more quickly, similar to what we talked about with, the ad filming, right? If you had to film every ad each time, you're probably not going to do a dozen ads. But maybe it takes 12 different variations of your ad to find that winning ad that you're able to really scale. It's the same thing with audiences. If you're going to, have to, first of all, learn how all this works, you might not even find how to build an audience yet. But then once you do, you're going to spend a bunch of time researching. Well, with this, all you got to do is going to give you a bunch of different ideas. But there's also ways to take that and say, okay, how can I come up with other ideas? How can I find other different targeting options? And you can go and find different ways to target those ads. And now you have dozens and dozens of different audiences that you can rapidly test. If this reduces your time, we actually ran a study. The average time it takes to go from a search to a fully synced audience is 2.6 minutes on average.
Holy cow.
We've got, over 15,000 users now. And that's, that's the average time it takes. And so what that means,
without this tech, how much time would people normally be spending to do something like that?
So on our audience research, we used to have a whole process that we would do and we would train clients in. It was a gigantic spreadsheet where we manually put down keywords. This is not a joke. This is like what we did is we had a spreadsheet. And this is what I've done for a long time, what I've trained clients to do, all of that. Like it's a spreadsheet, and we're going and searching on YouTube. And we're finding what keywords auto-populate, what other things people are searching for. We're trying to figure this out ourselves. We don't have an algorithm working in the background. There also were some other tools, but they didn't really work as well with YouTube. They would find Google search terms, but not YouTube search terms. So all these different things. And we'd have to go and kind of hodgepodge it together. First, know what we're looking for, start searching, filling it all out. You would end up with a few audiences at the end of this sheet. But it really would be a 2 to 4 hour long process, not to mention the time it takes to learn and also having to go through all of that to come up with probably about 5 audiences. Whereas if you do the math here, to create that same number of 5 audiences, you could do that in like 15 minutes. So it's a very big difference. One search. Yeah. Honestly, it won't even take 15 minutes because you could sync those audiences much quicker. So honestly, it would probably take around 10 minutes or less.
That's wild. But the fact that you can now do that, like you said, I'm curious now to expand even deeper. So even we start a broad audience or different strategies. So can you give me kind of an example to highlight that? Let's just kind of talk through. So we start with one kind of general goal, and let's do I am as an example. So I have a product that's teaching people affiliate marketing, how to make money online. It's high ticket. I want to build my audience. If you kind of give me an example of where you might start and then how you'd start refining that down, having this kind of technology where you could take it.
Yeah. So what you could do is you could go in and search inside of keyword search and go and say, okay, here's my URL. And then how would you describe that just in one sentence? And I'll just give you an example. So
so it'd say, how was it? Don't worry about returning to the office. Find a way to make money online while sitting from home, replace your income from home, something like that.
Then you'd click generate on keyword search. And what it would do is it would go in and find all of the different first in-market audiences. So what are people interested in? Making money online. It'll come up with different interests, right? So working from home, working remotely, replace income, leave 9 to 5. These are more descriptions that describe them and what they're kind of in the market for and interested in. That's the first audience. You go in, it'll give you usually about 20 different 10 to 20 of these keywords. You just choose which ones you want, click sync to Google Ads, bam. That's now your first audience. That's affinity and market intent. And it'll find these descriptors. You see how I had a few off the top of my head, but kind of struggled to think of a few more?
Yeah.
Well, it would probably have come up with a few more faster than I can think of it, right?
And probably ones you would never even think of too, I'd imagine.
Exactly. Yeah. Then what it'll do is it'll go in and it will go and find all the different search terms on Google and YouTube. The first step is it goes through and it finds, all right, people that are looking for this type of thing. What are they searching for? What are they looking at? Behind the scenes, we built this algorithm from the ground up. And I will tell you a little bit of what it's doing. It's not just going and seeing what most common searches are. It's going like people that watch these videos, what are the different tags and meta description and titles of these videos, and what are similar recommended videos other people are watching. So what are these? So it's basically finding what are all the most common search terms that people are looking up and titles of videos that people are looking up to.
Almost allowing you to unlock that algorithm, basically.
Yeah.
In a way.
And that's what took a long time. That's what we started with. That was originally what keyword search was before AI. Now we added AI into it. Beforehand, it was just a way to we still had the spreadsheet. And it was just a way of more quickly finding the keywords. Now it does everything for you automatically, no spreadsheet needed. So essentially what it'll do is it'll do all that in the background. So then it categorizes it together. So now it knows it's going to give you an audience, like a pre-built audience that's make money keywords. And it'll have make money online, how to start an online business, best ways to make money online, all these different keywords. All you got to do. So let's say you want to find more keywords similar to that. Just click expand. It'll go and it'll find more keywords just like those. Then click sync to Google Ads. That's your make money online audience. Now it'll come up with another one. It might have another audience that says, passive income. And these are passive income keywords. How do I make passive income? How do I, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing. You can expand, sync to Google Ads. It might come up with one that says, leave my 9 to 5, how to leave your 9 to 5, how to replace your income. It'll have those as a topic category. Sync those. And it will come up with usually about a dozen different topic categories, all from that one search. That's just one search. There's also different ways to do these searches as well. You can do it based on, there's a variety of different things.
I feel like you could start getting some really great combo audiences, find pockets of high ROI, because what a great way to get underserved markets, because everyone's using their same brain and hive mind that is not feeding off data and intent, but off our own biases, right? So no, this is like my marketing nerd brain is like blowing up with all the different things you could do. It's like, oh, give me an hour. This sounds like so much fun. So just with the different audiences. But the big thing is like, we know that data is king when it comes to marketing, right? The more data we have, the more precise your marketing will be. So we get to the point that we speak the language of our audience, and to the point they don't recognize they're even being sold. I'm just connecting with somebody that gets me, right? Data gets us there, and AI makes data faster and more accessible. So I could totally see how this is just this, like, when you change this idea of going, we're not just content. We're going back to, we are really capturing true buyer intent, informed intent. We're powering that with AI to create value add based ads and ad campaigns that fit the value that audience specifically needs, that you were able to quickly generate through targeted terms to plug into YouTube. Holy cow, this feels awesome to me. What a way to unlock, if you're a media buyer or if you're a business that wants some media buyers, this feels like a real game changer. I'm not just trying to pitch it. I think this just sounds super exciting. So what I need you to do is slow me down, Aleric. Like, who is this wrong for? What is this not going to do? What are some of the things that you would tell people, hey, just so you know, I know you're excited right now, but it's not going to do this, or you still need to know XYZ things to be successful. This is not going to, take over your entire media buying agency for you or department or whatever.
So I think the thing is it's not going to fix a bad offer. And I think that that's something that you and everybody listening here uniquely know, right? There's offers. That's why you have the different, gravity scores and all that. Like, you know what offers are converting, better, what's like going to be your better performing offers. So again, you want to make sure it's easy to get caught in this, but also you got to remember, you got to have good landing pages. You got to have great offers. Those are really important in addition to the ads and in addition to the targeting, right? You can't out media buy a subpar offer. But when you have a great offer, you have a landing page, and you have the ability to go and target and the ability to create videos, all of this coming together is going to work really, really well. And the other thing that I would look at is just, making sure that you understand that right now, even though, myself and many other people are looking to tackle this, but right now the media buying side is not driven by AI. So there is a human element to, when you create these audiences, you don't just set it and forget it. You want to go and look at and see what audiences are working, which videos are working. And here's a simple way to look at it. You launch, let's say 12 videos, and you wouldn't necessarily want to do all these all in one campaign. We've actually kind of found 6 videos in one campaign. So usually separate it. Let's say if 6 hooks, 1 educate, this would be a campaign with 1 educate. Then similarly, 5, 6 audiences. Then you have another campaign, another 5, 6 videos, another 5, 6 audiences. And then what you'd be able to do is see, oh wait, these couple videos are working great. These ones aren't. Turn off the ones that aren't. These other ones, maybe we want to tweak them a little bit. Scale up the ones that are. These audiences are working great. Okay, keep these on. These ones aren't. Turn those off. These audiences are working well. How can we create more similar audiences? So what you want to do is you want to go in and actually make sure that you're optimizing before you scale. That's a big, big, big thing that people miss. And that is really important. You don't just set up the campaign and never look under the hood. You want to look under the hood and see what's working, what's not working, turn off what's not working, tweak what is kind of working, and then take the stuff that is working, and that's what you scale. So I think that's really valuable as well.
Yeah, I love to tweak what's kind of working too. I think sometimes you might have something that's working and think, I don't care anymore. But as you all know, that YouTube ads don't last forever. As much as we all wish they did, they don't. So already working on those mid-tier stuff and then relaunching, it's like, if you keep yourself in that cycle, you could just be running for such a longer time on a campaign because you're optimizing constantly, efficiently too. But yeah, like you said, AI is it doesn't replace a human, it empowers a human. So you still got to be good at all that other stuff and be looking at that, paying attention to have some success. Well, I just realized we've been having such a good conversation. I don't want to take you way more of your time, but this was amazing. And I'm sure so many people are thinking, okay, I got to either work with you, I got to get access to technology. And you've mentioned a couple of different things for people to be able to access. One you haven't mentioned yet, and I'm going to put you on, with the keyword search AI service. So we'll talk about that in a second. But the other one, I just want to remind people, for the strategy we talked about, we gave a very high level overview of Aleric's strategy that he's using, but he actually has a PDF that you could go to. I know there's a link if you want to tell people you could access the full in-depth version of the strategy, as well as get access to keyword search. So if you want to share those tidbits and how people could also, they just want to reach out and get a hold of you, find other content where they could do that, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so we've got a full 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF, completely for free, walks through exactly how the strategy works. You can go to addoutreach.com/gift. That's ADOUTREACH.com/GIFT, addoutreach.com/gift. That's my full 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF, completely for free. And then when it comes to keyword search, that's just keywordsearch.com, exactly how it sounds, keywordsearch.com. And there's a 5-day free trial. I'd love to give everybody who's listening here, happy to give you a month for free. You just need to use the promo code podcast. So that's promo code podcast. That's a full, top tier account, promo code podcast. And you can definitely go in and check that out and really start utilizing that. I know once you start diving in, it's gonna be really exciting. And I'll give you a scoop too. We actually so I haven't really talked about this much because we're literally about to have the webinar where we're unveiling this next week, but I'll share it here. So you're going to hear it here first.
Drum roll, everyone, because I haven't heard this yet either, guys. So I'm excited.
We have been working on, and we have just released the early access, and this is to all the users in keyword search, of our AI YouTube ad script writer. And this is trained on our 400 top YouTube ad scripts that we have found. So we've written thousands of scripts with ad outreach. We've gone through and taken a look at the top 400. We fed it in to give the AI examples of what works best. If you ask any, ChatGPT or stuff like that to write a YouTube script, you're probably going to be underwhelmed by the results, to be honest, because it's just taking the average, right? Like, of what's out there. It's not actually going to be like an expert level script writer. Maybe there's ways to prompt it. But yeah, and we even tried some of those. But honestly, what works the best, and you're probably hearing more about these with like GPTs and things like that, is training the AI on what it should write. And that's what we built right into keyword search. So we trained the AI and we tested and tweaked to train it with our top 400 scripts, gave it the hook, educate, call to action framework, gave it 4 key questions to ask. So you just have to fill out the answer to 4 questions, takes about 2 minutes, and then it will come and write a full AI script. And you can, add as many hooks as you want. You can, rewrite as many times as you want. But also, this is going to give you a script following our best practices. Now, it's not going to be 100% perfect out the gate, but it will be that 80, 90% where it just takes a few tweaks to get it where it needs to be. And similarly, this is just designed to get you that much closer to the finish line. And that's something that we just rolled out that we're pretty excited about as well.
That is freaking awesome. And I just want to attest to everyone, if you have not seen the difference of good data in to AI, what it produces is substantially different. So, but it really depends on what you're serving. Because like you said, like if you're using GBT or really anything at a broad scale that you're not controlling the data going in, it's taking in all of the internet, the entirety of the internet. And where we might think that there's like elite little pockets at the top that say, yes, this is good, all of it is not good. So it doesn't discern between good or bad, just that it exists. And so unless you tell it what's good or tell it what's bad, it won't know the difference. So yeah, feeding that good data in, boy, I could tell you guys, I've seen the difference on copy and other services. In fact, John Benson just showed us his Benson AI product. And I was blown away at when you're putting what he knows is good data from all his copy scripts, and it's feeding that out afterwards after multiple years of training it, similar to what you have. boy, does it change those results in a hurry. So yeah, that's an amazing value add. So everyone, if you're listening right now, if you're not involved in YouTube, or you are, or you'd like to be, or you just would like to make more money, you need to use some of the resources that Aleric's talking about, whether it's obviously for the copy, for getting the keywords, and even just for knowing the strategy. You are just going to be in such a better place if you're doing that going forward. And I could tell you too, like switching to what you're seeing and you're mentioning on the media buying side, the people that are doing that are not having struggles on YouTube right now. If you were still in the content realm, you're probably having a lot of struggles, feeling like you're spending a lot of money, not getting the ROI that you used to. Change it by doing something different today. I really appreciate your time. This is amazing. Again, for people that want to just follow you to hear more, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever they're calling it now, what are some ways that people can maybe just follow your content so they can hear more from you?
Yeah, so you can just look up my name, Aleric. You can just go there on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all major platforms. I'm not on X as much, but we do cross post there as well. YouTube's obviously the primary platform. YouTube is going to be great to get trainings, value. We've got full tutorials. We got full trainings on there. I'm a big believer in over delivering value. So if you check out the YouTube channel, you're going to see a lot of value there. Also on Facebook, if you want more behind the scenes about how I'm building my business, how we scaled, everything that we're doing, that's where I provide some more behind the scenes. I also have a newsletter called the Marketing Minds newsletter that walks through every single week the best strategies in the world of marketing. Now, the best way to subscribe to that, there is a way to subscribe individually, but the best way is if you just go get the PDF gift, it'll automatically subscribe you to the newsletter. So it's just atoutreach.com/gift. And you'll get the gift and the newsletter as well.
I know what I'm doing after this, right? We're good off. I'm going to head on over there because I want to be part of that newsletter. Really, really love the time. This is fantastic. Again, guys, Aleric's amazing. Got to follow his content. You have to go try the software because you'd just be silly not to. If you just hate money, you hate information, you hate being better in your marketing, sure, don't even try. But if you like any of those things, you need to go. We're going to put all that information in the show notes. Click below. In fact, I'm going to put a call out to anybody out there that goes and does and signs up for the 30 days. Please email us at affiliated@clickbank.com with what your results are. We will share them on the show. We'll let everyone know the success you're sharing. If you want to put your name behind it, let us know. We want to blast it out there to show people that this really makes a difference, and you'll be highlighted so everyone knows that, hey, you're a brilliant media buyer out there. Show us the improvements, and we'll be sure to show everyone who you are. So with that, until next time, please rate, review, subscribe, reach out with any questions that you have. If there's a burning thing you think, that we just need to know more about, let us know. We read those emails, as well as I'm still waiting for some more costume ideas for Michael. So please keep sending them in. We'll make sure that he is dressed in a ridiculous way in the next top offer segment that he is a part of. Until next time, if Thomas was here, he would say happy scaling. I will say it in his stead, and you have a good one. Thanks so much.